talk about Ayurveda, the science of wholeness of life. The origin of Ayurveda comes from ancient India, Vedic civilization. See, the civilization which was governed by knowledge. It was a knowledge-based civilization. The rishis or the scholars of Vedic sciences passed on this knowledge, these great works on consciousness, on humanity, on various aspects of human life, generation after generation. And till today in India, Ayurveda is absolutely mainstream medicine that is used. Not only Ayurveda, but many great works of that time, like yoga, for example, Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, Vastu, the Vedic architecture. All these sciences come from this great Vedic civilization. And among that, all these rishis, the seers, the difference is that modern science is an objective approach to find the truth. The Vedic science is a subjective approach, the same truth found in a subjective way. We'll come to that in more details in this presentation. And among the great seers, on the top you see Adi Shankaracharya. About 2,000 years ago, we found in India a great revival of knowledge. The knowledge that brings harmony, knowledge that brings wholeness of life, the bliss, the all progress and all good in society. And in that tradition, Maharishi teacher was there, and from there, Maharishi got this knowledge, this state of enlightenment, this great treasure of Vedic science. And Maharishi came to the world outside, like in mid-50s, and brought this gift of transcendental meditation, the easy, effortless, natural technique that comes from this civilization, and was brought in a very scientific way to the world. And it is still practiced by millions and millions of people. And Ayurveda, Maharishi not only brought out TM, but also all this, he revived all these Vedic sciences, like Ayurveda is one of them, yoga is another, Vastu is another, Jyotish is another, the Vedic system of astrology. So many sciences, but these are what we normally know of, so I'm saying this. So when we say about Ayurveda, it's important to know what Ved is. The whole Vedic literature, whole Vedic science, whole Vedic civilization that lived for thousands and thousands of years. What Ved is? When subjectively one enlightened saints, what they found is that how nature functions, basis of nature. So Maharishi says, Veda is natural impulse of infinite, eternal, uncreated, pure consciousness that is at the basis of all creation, evolution, and dissolution in the universe. So it's the language of nature, the harmony, the evolutionary power that is present in nature. And that is like, it is possible that human consciousness connects to that and evolves to that fullness. So Ayurveda comes from that, Veda, Ayurveda. So Maharishi defined that Ayurveda is a Veda of Ayurveda, means complete knowledge of life. It is the science of life, the science of wholeness of life, the science of perfect health. So great scholars, rishis of Ayurveda, one of them is Sushruta Samhita, and how they define Ayurveda. Samadosha samagnischa samadhatu malakriya prasannatmendriya manaha swasthya ityapitiyate. Now this is in ancient Sanskrit, but it's very beautiful knowledge that when the structures and functions of physiology are in perfect balance, perfect harmony, and they are in harmony with each other and harmony with all the environment. And that is the state of health, but Rishis didn't stop there. He further says, Prasannatmendriya Mana, when the self, that I-ness of a person is in happiness, when his whole mind, all mind that is thinking, intellect, ego, senses, all that is in pleasant state. And then his interaction with the world, outside world, is in harmony, perfect harmony and happiness. Then that is the state of perfect health. And what it is called swasthya. And in Sanskrit, swasthya is health, but if you go deeper, swasthya is to be established in the self, in that state of unity, unified state of harmony. So when Charaka, another father of Ayurveda, was asked, like by his disciples, this is thousands and thousands of years ago, maybe 5,000, we don't know when it started, this thing. Because Vedic tradition is passed on orally from generations to generation. Then he said that, how do students ask, how do we explain what is Ayurveda to the world? He said, first explain what Veda is. And having explained what Veda is, Veda, as we saw how it is that evolutionary power of nature that unifies and upholds everything in the world. Then say what Ayush is. And he says Ayush is Chetana Anuvritti, a continuum of consciousness, that it is being alive, and every expression of life is connected to the source of life, the self, from where everything emerges. And Dhari, that which sustains the body, that is called Ayurveda. So let us try to find what this wholeness is about. What is that harmony that Ayurveda talks about? And how that becomes the basis of health and happiness and long life and, solving many problems in life. If we see modern science, physics, at every level of creation, there are laws that govern different levels of creation. And different laws, science found this law, that law, and they are like truths in nature. But what they found, as the science goes from gross to finer, the laws merge to more unified state, more unified state, more unified state. And maybe 60 or 70 years ago, they found that there are only 4 fundamental forces or laws of nature from where everything in the physics can be explained. And they were electromagnetism, weak interaction, strong interaction, gravitation. And how this unification happened, we see like at one level of science, electricity and magnetism are completely different laws. Apparently, there is no connection. But as science went finer, became one electromagnetic field. It's becoming field, and all the laws of electricity, all the laws of magnetism are unified in harmony over there. So finer we go, this great unification starts to happen. And finer we go, the laws of nature are becoming more and more universal, more and more powerful. Like if you see gravity, everybody had seen apple falling, and you can connect with your 5 senses. You can taste and touch and smell and hear the sound. But when Newton went into deeper level, and he cognized that gravity, force of gravity, and suddenly that force is universal. All the galaxies, all the phenomena of universe, is one of the fundamental force of nature, such powerful, such universal, as one goes on the finer levels. So as the science went more and more, these four forces also started to unify and went to state of what they call unified field of all the laws of nature, one field, one theory for all theories. Now, this is the phenomenon that Vedic science brings on the level of consciousness, that rishis, this simple TM, transcendental meditation, simple natural process. And it goes from gross to finer, innocently, effortlessly, mind traverses in a natural way to finer and finer levels of thinking process till it reaches that level of unified state. And as we see what in nature also, the laws that are on surface level are different than the much deeper as one goes. So mind connects to that finer levels, deeper, more profound levels of thinking and more unified. For example, on the level of leaf, I mean, if you see in the nature, and it's a great phenomenon, it is like converting the sun's energy into the energy of the plant, or it connects oxygen and carbon dioxide mechanism in the world. But more than that, is not on that level. You go one deeper level, on the level of branch, and what you see is that all the laws that govern all the leaves are there. Not only that, but laws that govern fruits and flowers, much more is available, much enriched level. So final levels are more richer, more powerful. And one is like, it's also very harmonious. For example, in nature, we see that if I have in my one hand a bottle of essential oil and another bottle of honey, there is no connection. Like, totally one is great fragrance, one is great taste. But I see a little bit deeper from where this lavender essential oil came. So, there is a field where flowers blossom, and they extracted the essence of that flower. The fragrance was coming from there. And so this essence, and then honey, I see, from where? There is a honeycomb where honeybees collected the nectar of flower. And then I follow the honeybee, and it's sitting on the same flower, collecting the nectar. Then I come to the level of flower, and it's the essence of the flower, which is giving fragrance, and the nectar of flower, which is giving nourishment to the flower, is in one harmony, in beauty. That is the level of consciousness. As we go finer, finer, finer. And that state we heard in the previous lecture, so Andre mentioned that yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. Every activity is silent and just established in that self, Atma, as it is called in Ayurveda and yoga. So if you see the physiology also, you see the whole organ systems, and then organs, and then tissues and cells. You see how finer and finer it goes. Proteins, RNA, DNA, and then the level of DNA, most compact knowledge of whole physiology is like genetic blueprint of whole life is there in that. And finer than that is just the consciousness. And that level, we on the right side, transcendental meditation, transcending to that level is level from all the creativity, all the intelligence emerges. That level of nature where it's just evolutionary power of nature. Just all that is good, all that is evolutionary, all that is nourishing is there. Just like all the knowledge of the tree is there when just seed is just about to sprout. all the laws that are going to create a huge big tree, all the diversities in one wholeness. That level, Maharishi calls it simplest form of human awareness. Is achieved innocently, achieved effortlessly with simple technique, transcendental meditation performed twice a day, morning, evening, and practiced by millions of people. So this is something that how to enliven the inner intelligence of the body. And this state, the Yoga Sutra, Maharishi Patanjali, from where we saw the first verse, Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Second is Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam. Then the observer remains established in his own nature. That silent state of consciousness, that pure consciousness, the state of pure knowingness, what it is, where the observer, it's our own essential nature. Yeah, established in that. Swarupe Avasthanam. You see, I come back to Ayurveda definition of health, swasthya, and definition of yoga, how they join here. Swarupe Avasthanam. Swastha. Swarupe is self. Avasthanam, established in the self. So, definition of yoga, same as definition of Ayurveda. Vritti Sarupya Miktahatra. That's tendencies rise from there and reside there. Same in the field of Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a huge, huge science. There are hundreds of colleges in India. There are hundreds of research centers in India. There is a ministry of Ayush there in India, which is governing all the activities around the country and establishing and spreading natural medicine. So the Charak Samhita, I'll just say in English, Atma is that self, unmanifest, knower of all creation, eternal, universal, and indestructible. That level of life, from where all the laws that govern our physiology, our consciousness, all the laws that govern the whole universe, that is that state. Then second is Atma is light of absolute bliss consciousness, eternal, non-attached, and without attributes. Upon contact with Prakriti, manifest creation arises. This is from Bhava Prakash. Now that was from Charak Samhita. Maharishi used to sit with, this is in 1980s, Maharishi is in the center, and surrounded by very highly established Vaidyas from India, and he revived the science of Ayurveda to its glory and created a for the whole world a system or the world plan to create a perfect health through Ayurveda. And the idea is that, why we fall sick? Because of violation of natural law. We don't live according to nature law. We don't know how to protect, preserve our health. We don't know how to prevent from getting sick. And Ayurveda gives that knowledge of prevention. And so Maharishi said that it is possible through this knowledge to create a disease-free society. Just like a flower blossoms, it doesn't need to get sick to figure out. It's just life can blossom, 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 and no need to get sick if we follow properly our life. So this is another photo of one of the international congresses. Now, Maharishi organization, and especially Maharishi International University, has since 1970s, huge number of research, like conducted over 250 universities and research centers in 30 different countries have been, many have been published. in the leading peer-reviewed journals. More than 6 million people have been practicing this technique. And I want to go through just a glimpse of what, what this technique gives. This is also electrocardiograms done in 70s even, but see the profound results. Like this is first one is like just 2-week-old meditator. This is after 4 months, and this is after 2 years. What the brain electrocardiogram, electroencephalogram coherence is seen. So this is first like eyes closed, and then maybe this TM technique, and then eyes closed again after the technique. And you start to see that different brain frequencies become like coherent. It's more than 95% coherence is achieved. And then it spreads over the different frequencies. And you see that as the years go by, even before one starts to meditate, the brain comes under that tremendous coherence. Like all the different frequencies and different areas of brain become coherent, orderly functioning of the brain. And not only the brain, these are metabolic changes. 6-8 hours of sleep gives out about -8% of reduction in oxygen consumption. And TM technique, 20 minutes of meditation, it goes -6%. Gives a tremendous relaxed state of physiology. Now that level of physiology definitely does some very good thing, because there are stresses and strains in our physiology which cannot just go out by a simple sleep, because it needs deeper rest. Sleep does not provide that deeper stresses, like day-to-day fatigue is removed, but deeper stresses go out like that. And then biochemical changes, plasma cortisol levels also go down. This is a endocrine response to stress, which goes on suggesting deep relaxed state that is achieved. So these are more brain frequencies. Like, so to the left of the red line is like before TM, and you see tremendous change as one starts to meditate immediately, all coherent brain functioning. Again, this is very different than waking, dreaming, sleeping states of brain coherence. Here you see all the different areas of brain getting connected, orderly and lively. So now these were like for many years, and more researches are happening. This is one of the very fundamental, what we say in yoga and Ayurveda, that this practice, whether we say yoga or Ayurveda, these practices transform enormously, like on the level of basic inborn tendencies get changed. So how to find that change, how to see that change happens on the level of genetic, epigenetic, even further than that. So what is actually the effect? What can create that state of health? What can create that state of, long life and happiness? And see, on the level of genes, there is one, the end of the chromosome, there is this caps, like caps on the shoelace called telomeres. These caps are protecting the DNA from damage. And this length reduces due to cell divisions, and when the person is under stress or when the person is aging, then that get reduced. Like you see, length of telomeres reducing, causing damage to the DNA, and that affects the immune system and the protection of our health, basically DNA protection. Here again, you see in the first picture, it is telomerase length is going down, but it is intervened by there is a gene response called telomerase, and it restores the balance in genes. It protects again. And so how this gene expression is happens how in genetic epigenetic, that this is again a slide where we see as the age progresses, the length of telomeres is reducing. And so epigenetic, the science of what can change on the gene level. We do something and what it does. In the previous paradigm, genetic expressions or DNA is like a fixed thing that is whatever is there is non-changeable. But now it is found that even those finest level is possible. Some transformation is possible. And they say that when a very intense like education of health, of diet, and we make some change in the daily routines and some basic changes in our lifestyle we do, it does change, bring change, positive change in that. That known, we saw what TM does. Same. They are not practitioners of TM. They're not going through all these rigorous, changes of lifestyle and diet, and you see the telomerase expressions increase before TM and after TM. This was funded by National Institute of Health and was in collaboration with scientists from Maharishi International University, Department of Natural Medicine, Traditional Medicine Department, and some scholars from Harvard University. And this change was found both ways. And that suggests that, a significant change in the health and happiness and long life through the practice of TM and practices that are shown like in yoga, in Ayurveda, many practices in Ayurveda which is like lifestyle, corrections. And that can do this tremendous. This study, another study, which is done like 10 years long study, and effect of TM on death, heart attack, and stroke on the heart patients was done. Was found to be 48% reduction in the practitioners of TM. This also was funded, almost a $5 million research funded by National Institute of Health and Maharishi International University, finding these health benefits. So we come to Ayurveda. It's a huge, deep science, but I'll take few things which change the significantly transforms body's inner intelligence to maintain good health and long life and happiness. And one of the things was self-pulse reading or pulse diagnosis, self-pulse. That Ayurveda said that pulse, and it has a big science in itself, that the artery pulsating at the base of the thumb indicates life, happiness and misery, and including balance and imbalance states of the physiology should be known from its movement. So pulse diagnosis. So what, it's a subtle science to find out how our physiology functions. And before the imbalance comes into on the level of symptoms and disease, catch that and correct it through simple remedies like, change in lifestyle, change in diet, do this, take these herbs like that. And then, this is a science which, if it can be taught to society, in the school, introduce this properly into mainstream of education, can make a big difference, because health of an individual comes back to the hands of the individual. that I take care of my health. I will not fall sick. I protect my health. I live long. I be happy. So so many fundamentals of prevention. Ayurveda calls for swasthasya shwastha is one of the principles that protect the health of the healthy. That is that science. So also knowledge about diet, digestion, nutrition, what is the complete wholeness of meals and how it transforms, how it helps. Many different, knowledge about, then about sleep and about, behavior, achar rasana, how the behavior, even Ayurveda says, your behavior, represents your awareness, your level of consciousness, that health promoting behavior that promotes health in you and in your surrounding. And that level of enlightened knowledge of health was there in that time. And it's beautiful that human behavior in accordance with natural law, that whatever we are doing in life, whatever we are performing, can be nourishing to our environment and to us. That is that beauty of it. So yoga is one of the aspects. Ayurveda suggests that, really protects and preserves health. Not only asanas, pranayama, but the whole length and breadth of. And then this is Agni, just how to protect. Agni, like it's a life-giving, like sun in the world gives life and energy, and throughout the world, all life depend on sun. Like that, Agni in that heat of the body, how to protect. So subtly, so detailed, all different stages of Agni and how they are protecting. What is their function? Which Agni is where? It's a deep science. And also there is, in the slide is not that, but there's a whole system called Panchkarma. The processes whereby simple processes like massage, different processes that one goes through, they are purificatory processes, that impurities in the physiology, which we, like, our day-to-day life, our diet, pollution in the environment, pollution in the diet, that goes into our system. How to purify? We don't have technique. Ayurveda has that. What was found that if, with 10, 15 days of simple procedures of Ayurveda, of purification, rejuvenation processes, it was found that as much as 50% and more of the environmental toxins in the blood were removed. So what texts 5,000 years ago were telling, today was found in the laboratories of modern world. This is a very beautiful concept in Ayurveda and Vedic science. I would like to tell you, it's a far-reaching effect. If brought to the world, it's a great transformation can happen. Many researches have been done, more than 50. See, the fundamental principle in this research, this Vedic principle, Maharishi says that every human being, how much order or disorder he's carrying, he has an influence on the collective consciousness. His consciousness contributes to the collective consciousness. Every individual in society. And then collective effect of that is what is collective consciousness of the world. Now, in turn, this collective consciousness affects the trends in the society. And there is a science where we can make change. That Maharishi applied the Vedic science in this, a very great fundamental research, that a very small group can create that influence of harmony and dissolve the societal stress that whole environment in society get transformed to more order, more harmony. And that in turn changes the society. And there are many researches, but I'll go by one research which has come out now and very significant because it's done on the national level in the United States. Okay, this is beautiful. I have taken the principle from Charak Samhita, one of the Ayurveda texts, and it's very interesting. When dharma, actions in accord with natural law, declines in the collective consciousness of a nation, then their rulers do not follow the righteous path and violate the laws of nature. This decline is due to pragya, mistaken intellect. Constant violation of natural law by the rulers lead to their subordinates and the ordinary people to add to these acts of adharma, lack of dharma or lack of life in alliance with natural law. So wrongful collective acts by population increase adharma. And as adharma declines, natural law does not fully support people's lives. This results in seasons getting impaired. The rains don't come in time, the famine arises, the weather patterns become imbalanced. Adharma causes abnormality in earth and water. Consequently, the medicinal herbs based around on the land and water lose their efficacy. All this results in collective suffering and destruction. Similarly, the violation of natural law, adharma, is at the root of wars because the increased greed, anger, and ego, some people may start fighting among themselves with killer intentions or start a fight with enemy. They may attack the enemy or get attacked by the enemy. So this is like, how the collective consciousness changes the life of society. And what is the solution to that? How to transform that? And we saw how simple technique of transcendental meditation creates that harmony, balance. And these experiments are done with collective group of coherence creating group. They practice together. This group is the size of this, at least like a scientists have found, it needs a square root of 1% of population. Then the transformation starts to happen in society. And this was achieved in the United States during an experiment. It started building up. This blue line is the group number. And by 2007, you see that blue line reaches the threshold of square root of 1%. That time, like 1725 people practicing transcendental meditation and the MCD program, that was TM. And that remained up to 2011. Now, all the other different colors are, you see, different negative tendencies in society. The societal stress, wrongful acts done by individuals. They are, how they are measured there. So, murders, rape, assaults, robbery, all the negative tendencies of society. And then there is a red, deep red line. You see, that is a composite index of all negative lines. And you see that as it reaches, till it reaches, nothing happens on the left side. See, especially you see the red line. And once it reaches, it went down completely. All kinds of negative trends of the society went down. And then the experiment ended and group started to become smaller, and again took the previous trend of going up. So this is very significant, that how society can change, how the world harmony can, how peace can be brought in the world. And this is part of also collective health of society, where health and happiness and harmony in society can be achieved through this ancient Vedic science. So I'll end with Maharishi quote, Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, May everyone be happy. May everyone be healthy. Through the introduction of Ayurveda, it is completely within the ability of any sovereign government to bring fulfillment to its aspiration to provide perfect healthcare for the whole population, and on the basis of perfect health, to eliminate all problems of nations and perpetuate the sunshine of the age of enlightenment. Thank you very much.